Do you hear bumps in the night? Are your twilight hours more witching than they should be? And are you responsible if the buyer of your home claims that it's haunted? If you're living in what you believe to be a paranormally haunted house, and you want to sell it, you do not have to disclose your supposed haunting, but you should find out if it's actually a more settling event, like a foundation issue, insect or rodent infestation, or a big construction issue. In Florida, the seller does not need to disclose what they believe to be a haunting affair, but they must disclose material issues that affect the value of the home. Why don't we start with the law before we discuss any stigmatic incantations? Florida law does not require certain disclosures, and it does require others. The standard residential contract for sale and purchase includes the following statement. The seller knows of no facts materially affecting the value of the real property which are not readily observable and which have not been disclosed to the buyer. And many contracts even include a seller's disclosure form. Florida law provides that, with some exceptions, a home seller must disclose any fact or conditions about a property that have substantial impact on its value that others cannot easily observe themselves. Whether it's a spooky archy wiring in the attic, or musty mold damage in the basement, or creepy bugs like termites and wood-destroying organisms, there's a disclosure form for that. What about issues with the property that aren't so apparent? Or psychological, stigmatized, or even haunting problems with the home? Sometimes there's a specter of mysterious issues in the house. So, what happens when your walkthrough feels a bit like the reenactment of The Exorcist? Or when the Candyman's in the mirror? Well, let's start with the definition. A stigmatized property is any building that has detrimental issues that are not related to the physical condition of the home. This might be a haunting history, say, a murder or suicide on the premises, or even a specter of belief that the house has a supernatural stalker. In Florida, disclosure laws are vague when it comes to disclosing stigmatized events. The law states that the seller has no obligation to disclose any sort of death or crime that has occurred on the property. And when it comes to paranormal hauntings, though, it's very subjective. Juana Watkins, General Counsel and Vice President of Law and Policy for the Florida Realtors, says that the duty to disclose depends on the beliefs of the parties involved. Haunting or unexplainable activity on the property is not a condition that has been well litigated through the courts, so the duty to disclose is not clear, Watkins says. Whether a buyer or seller believes in paranormal activity will likely shape their view on whether this is a known fact. In short, she says, it depends. All the ghastly ghouls, dementors, poltergeists, and goblins might be included in your sale, but there may be other reasons for those creepy noises. Maybe they could be discovered with a great pre-listing property inspection. Perhaps those bumps in the night are actually undiscovered plumbing issues, or a colony of vampire bats in the attic. If the seller firmly believes the house is haunted, it may be good reason for the seller and real estate profession to discuss why, says Juana Watkins. In Florida, the lack of haunting, stigmatized home disclosure requirements sometimes poses a problem. When a buyer finds out about the death that has occurred in a house, or a crime that has occurred on the property and wants to cancel their contract, or sue the seller for failure to disclose, there are issues. But since Florida law imposes no requirements to disclose, the seller has done nothing wrong by not disclosing crimes, homicides, suicides, or deaths that have occurred on the property. These events are not in themselves considered to be conditions that substantially impact the value of a home, even if the individual buyer would disagree. This is not the reason a buyer can cancel their contract. If buying a home with a ghost or ghoul is a scary proposition for you, buying a home with undisclosed structural issues should be worse. Here at Real-ativity, we recommend a comprehensive home inspection for every buyer on every sale. Have a safe and happy Halloween.